and I'll forewarn everybody on here. I can kind of talk in circles, but by the end, you'll be like, all right, I know what this dude's telling me to do. I know where the direction is. And yeah, it's been I got to meet you guys out at, when I say you guys, I got to meet Joan and Ryan out in Boston a few different times. And one of the things that I noticed right away was they had really had a vision for what the opportunity was with this business, and where they wanted to go with it, and or at least that was my perception of it, and what it was going to take, and sort of the level of commitment that they had to it. And a lot of times I'll start talking like stuff like this a little different. I wanted to start with my story, but this is popping in right now, and I think that for a lot of us it's really important. So one of the things that I noticed with them was there's like these levels of commitment for Beachbody coaches, and for a lot of us we're at this level where we believe in the products, right? Everybody, you wouldn't be a Beachbody coach if you didn't believe in the product. So we've got this committed level of belief in the products. Then the next sort of level there is we sort of believe in this network marketing business opportunity, right? Like we see the potential. We may have some doubts and some question marks around it, but we've heard the stories and we see the potential with this business opportunity. And then we take it up another level, and we have this belief in the leadership. We have this. If you guys haven't had a chance to really see Carl Deichler in his zone, like when you get him on a team call or something like that, when you get him in a small, intimate setting, he is just, the dude is committed to this business opportunity and committed to this network. And then you add everybody around him supporting him. You add the amazing people like Chris Downing and Tony Horton and Shalene John, like the Sean T, these people who, we have belief in these people, right? Like everyone's doing Sean T's program right now, and you really, like, it feels like the dude's talking to you on the screen every time you're doing one of his workouts, right? So there's these levels of belief. And then we have this piece here. There's two key pieces here, and I want you guys really to catch this. The first key piece is a belief in yourself. Because a lot of us are at that point. We believe in the products, we believe in this business opportunity, we believe in the Beachbody as a whole, right? But we don't yet believe in ourselves. We're not willing to bet on ourselves. We're not willing to look in the mirror and say, all right, because here's the deal, this business is up to you. It's not up to your upline. It's not up to your team. It's not up to Beachbody or Sean T or Carl Deichler. Like, your level of success in this industry, it's on you. So a lot of us, we're at this point that we don't yet believe in ourselves. And there's one more level to that. And here's what I saw with Joan and Ryan. There's a difference between believing in yourself, and when I say that, believing that you can do it, because here's where most people fall. They either don't believe they can do it yet, or they believe that they can do this business, but we look at it and we're like, yeah, I can do that. I see that, like, I understand that, I can do that, and we believe it. We believe it deep down. But we don't know without a doubt that this thing's happening for us. Like, we're going to make this thing happen. And I always tell, I usually do a lot of teachings with leaders, and I always tell leaders that, do you guys know Haley Christian? Everybody know her for the most part? So check this out. Haley was a diamond coach for like 3 years, stuck at diamond coach. And I don't mean that she was stuck because she wanted to grow her business. 3 years. So she shot right up to diamond, got there, doing the work, putting in all the effort, doing the vital behaviors, showing up, inviting every single day. And, for 3 years, and we all got to witness, because you guys kind of caught Haley on the tail end of it. She went from diamond to 7-star qualified in 3 months. She was stuck at diamond for 3 years. And then all of a sudden, she went from diamond to 7-star qualified in 3 months. And guys, here's what everybody wants to know. Here's what everybody asks this question, right? We ask the question, how did she do that? And we want to know, what are the steps she took? What was her secret Instagram strategy? And here's the deal. The how-to is way, way, way less important than she made the decision. Underline that, made a decision that she was going to do this no matter what. Because we get caught up and it's the way our human brains are. We get caught up in showing me the how-tos. Show me like how do I do this? How do I do that? And my leaders, they hate when, for the first 6 months, it's like torture working with me, because they come and they're like, I'm stuck at this thing. How do I, what do I need to do? Give me step A, B, C, and D. And my answer is, it's always like, what's the piece that's holding you back? Like, what's the piece in you that you need to grow through in order to get that? Another way to look at that is we all have goals, right? So here's a couple goals I want to throw out there. And I told you guys, it's like squirrel. I'm like, ooh, I got to talk about that. I got to talk about that. It's going to come all together in the end, I swear. But we all have these goals, right? And here's a couple goals that I want to throw out. If you're not yet diamond, your goal 100% should be diamond in the next 90 days. That has to be your goal. And that's even if you're a part-time coach, like that's even if you're poking around at this business, if you're still not sure it's going to work out, like diamond in 90 days. Here's the second goal. If you're a coach, the rank of coach, and you haven't yet achieved emerald, Carl Deichler finally caught on with this. I'm so happy that he's on it. Like I said, like something's changing right now in the network, and it's changing for the good. He has this piece that we always talk about in our business, and he just started sharing it. And the other day he said on a call that emerald is a decision. So if you're not yet, if you're a new coach and you haven't yet hit emerald, what he was sharing is emerald's a decision. Emerald isn't like, I'm going to sign up as a coach and for the next 30 days I'm going to work to get to emerald. What we share on our team is, okay, you signed up as a coach. Okay, we're going to go emerald today. So who are the 2 people that you're going to get signed up to get you to the rank of emerald? And this is mother, brother, husband, father, sister. For me, the first 2 people that I signed up were my wife and my mom. And they were doing it as a favor for me. Like, let's be real about this. Like, they were doing it as a favor. And I didn't necessarily have to go through all this work to get them signed up, but I did. I learned how to, if I was doing it now, I would have learned how to send out a share a cart. I would have learned how to, like, oh, there's my left leg and there's my right leg. Okay, so I'm emerald. Oh, so now I get to start making money. Like, now I get to start earning this cool thing called a team cycle bonus. And so there's so much learning that comes from that, from just getting to that rank. And then there's that excitement. Like, for the people that have done it, 90% of people, when they get to emerald, it's like somebody within like hands reach that it's like, come on, you're coming with me. I'm getting you signed up. So that's how we do it. But then you get recognized for it, and you're now an emerald coach, and it feels good. And I don't care who you are, because I'm the guy that doesn't care about rank and recognition, but it feels good. Anytime you get recognized for something, it feels good. So right now, if you haven't gotten to emerald, make the decision. You can literally go to bed tonight. If you're a coach, you can go to bed tonight an emerald coach. You can get off this call and go to bed as an emerald coach. And I know it's like super freaky, and so it sounds like a lot, but it's a decision. And you know how, so when we say that, it's usually like, oh yeah, but I got to do this, and that tonight, or I can't ask that person. Here's the way to know that if your excuse is real. Ask yourself, has anybody in the history of Beachbody ever been in the same situation that I'm in and done this? And if you can answer yes to that, your excuse isn't real. So if it's, oh, I think I'm going to go for diamond by the end of the year. Well, why? Like, you have the time. Like, getting to diamond in 90 days is, you can do that in if you're focused and you're disciplined, an hour a day, easily, like easily get to diamond. So sort of went off on a tangent there. I want to share a where do you guys want to go with the direction of this call? Do you guys want to talk about leadership? Like, do you want to talk about the stuff in this book? It's more high level. Do you want to talk about motivation stuff? Do you want to talk about like 2019? Like, what are we going to do for 2019? A lot of new coaches. Tough love, real talk, Christina. Getting to diamond and beyond. The mindset of income. Okay. I'm going to do a high level call that's for everybody. So this is sort of going to be, and if you're a brand new coach, what I want you to get out of this call is what's possible in this business. I'm not the guy that can teach you about challenge groups. I'm not the guy that can teach you about the ingredients in Shakeology, or the guy to teach you at social media. Like, if you look at my social media, it's a wreck. The stuff that I can help with is painting a vision for what's possible. And, you know, I see the like real talk, tough love, not being afraid of reaching out. I think that with all of this stuff, if you have a vision, if you have a big enough vision for what's possible in this business, it helps with that stuff. So I want to share a couple numbers with you guys. This will sort of like just get your mind clicking for how I approach my business. And Joan had shared a few numbers, but when I first got started as a Beachbody coach, I was a wreck. I was a wreck personally. I was a wreck mentally, emotionally, psychologically. I had just gone through, so 2 years prior, let me step back 2 years. When I had turned 30, I had just gone through a really bad breakup. I was living at home at my parents' house. Business falling apart, had to just sell my house, sell my truck, my brand new truck that I love so much. And for the next 2 years, my financial world fell apart. But I had hit rock bottom 2 years before it fell apart, when I was living with my parents and all that. And then what happened was 2 years later, the bankruptcy came, both a business bankruptcy and a personal bankruptcy. But when I was 30 years old, I also found P90X. And even though I went through all these hard things in my life, I found solace in that program. And it sounds corny, but it empowered me. It empowered me mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Like, the physical results were great, but for anyone that's ever gone through and you've done a program 100%, like, my eyes were happier, my eyes were clearer. I had a sparkle in my eyes, and I felt good. Those endorphins were going through my body. So even though I was going through a really hard time and literally rebuilding my life, and by the time I signed up as a Beachbody coach, like, it was full bankruptcy, all that stuff was happening. But I signed up for this business, and I decided to do it on a prayer and with a very clear vision. And we talked about in the beginning, like, making the decision that you're going to do this thing. I made a decision. When I decided to become a Beachbody coach, I decided that I saw the opportunity, guys. The writing was on the wall. Like, we're in January of 2019, and we're also at what's the bottom of a thing before it starts going up? Whatever. You guys know what I mean, right? Like the Beachbody's about to start going up. We had a big run. We're at the Valley. We had a big run. We went up, 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 and then we flatlined, even dipped a little bit. And now we're teed up to go up. And what's going to happen is so many new coaches just like you, sitting at home in their home office, doing their own thing, are literally going to be the next coaches walking across the stage, because they're going to blow it up in 2019. It's not the coaches that you've seen before, because we're primed. We're in a position that it doesn't matter what your past is. It doesn't matter what your history is. It doesn't matter what you've done. Beachbody is getting ready for another big push. And there's the question is, are you going to be part of that? Are you going to be part of this wave of momentum that is about to come, that is moving forward? I love it, Kat. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to put been talking on a few calls today, and I have a cold, so I have my lozenger. So when I first got started in this business, I was at a low point. Like, it was, couldn't talk on stage in front of people. Like, it wasn't, and leading up to that with my family history, I shouldn't be here living the life that I'm living. Like, if you look at the trajectory of my life, where I was going, if it wasn't for the many mentors that came into my life and helped me and guided me, and me being ready to receive that help, and me being ready to receive that guidance, and really growing and becoming, I wouldn't have gone, like, shouldn't be here, right? Let's leave it at that. One quick thing I do want to say, though, with mentoring, here's the most important thing that you can say to anybody in this business, whether it's one of your challengers, whether it's like if you're bringing in a new coach, whether it's someone you're talking to become a coach. I believe in you. That is the most important thing, as long as it's genuine. But for the two biggest mentors in my life are my personal sponsor in Beachbody, Bob Lucido. He's also, he helped me with a lot of stuff before I had signed up as a Beachbody coach. And then I also had a mentor, Craig Holiday. And the biggest thing those two men did for me was they believed in me. They believed in me before I believed in myself. They saw something in me before I could see it myself. Right? So you guys get that? Am I going way over your head for a new coach? Or are you like, what the F is this dude talking about? Are we all right? All right, because I see some of you looking at me like, all right. Get signed up as a coach, and 11 months later, I remember sitting at my desk in my house. It was January. We were in a condo at that time. I was now married, had a baby, and I was about to make a post on Facebook, and I like broke down. Like, I broke down hysterically crying, because all of the work that I had done up to that point had paid off, and I felt free. I felt rich. I felt like the post I made was that I'm now a full-time Beachbody coach. And it wasn't the money. It wasn't the money, because the crazy money hadn't even come yet. It was the freedom that went along with that. It was like, are you kidding me? I get to get paid for, here's what we do in a nutshell. I get to get paid for becoming the best version of myself and helping other people become the best version of themselves. That's what we do. And I was like, it was just, and I get to be there. Prior to that, I was working so much and I wasn't there, and I would come home from work and want to spend time with my wife and my daughter at that time. And I had nothing left. Like, it was just collapsing on the couch and, having a beer or two and waking up and doing it the next day, rinse and repeat. And now I got to proactively build my life. I got to help my wife with the baby. I got to, when the kids got older, take them to the bus, get them off from the bus, and build the house that we want, drive the car, not like, I got to create life on my terms, donate money to where I wanted to donate to, and all of that. Like, that's what that moment represented, right? Fast forward to 3.5 years. This is like the eye-opening piece, and then I'm going to get into a little bit of teaching, like nuts and bolts teaching. 3.5 years into this business, I went on a spiritual retreat, a 2-week spiritual retreat. Down in South Dakota in Sioux country. So on an Indian reservation, we go every year. And when we go there, there's no internet, no electricity, no running water. Like, we're cut off. We're out there, right? So I go there, and on the flight back, or it might have been drive. Yeah, we were driving this year. So on the drive back, finally plug in. I usually take a day or two. So we're in like the Ohio area, and I'll turn everything back on. So I turn everything back on, and while we were gone, remember, this is 3.5 years after I started my business, just like you, a position like no different than anyone here. We had 800 new coaches added to the team in those 2 weeks that we were gone. That was when I first opened the Coach Online office, saw that. That's not the cool part, though. The cool part is I didn't have a single text message, a single direct message. I didn't have anybody that had left me a voicemail. Literally, I didn't have a single message waiting for me when I got back. And the reason I want to share that is because whether you're a brand new coach or you've been doing this for a year or 2 years or 5 years, there's one piece that made all that difference. And it wasn't what I want to talk about tonight isn't doing something different. It's doing it with a different intent. So my intent right from the start was twofold. It was to build a big business, which anybody can do. It's actually easier to do that than to stay in that place where you're making like $50 to $100 a week. It's actually easier. So it was setting that intent. And with that intent, it was about building deep relationships with people and looking for 5 people. That was it. So when I first got started in this business, write this down. Your number coming out of today. So I'm going to come back to this, but write down that number 5, right? It was 5 people. Here's a little squirrel detour. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, here's the question that we all ask when we first get started. Can I do this? Right? Everybody on this call, that's what I ask myself when I look at someone who's one more level above me, because it's, she's able to do that, but not me, right? That person's able to do it, but not me. And we ask, can I do this? And here's the especially as of recently, the new things we tell ourselves are, once I do this next training, then I'm going to be able to do it, right? Like, once I get that next Instagram, once I get my blog set up, once I get this new pair of shoes and the new shoe, that's when I'm going to lose the weight. Like, we have all these, like, it's just that next thing away, then it's going to work out for us, right? The real question to ask yourself isn't, can I do this? The real question we all need to look at is, am I willing to do what it takes? So again, if you're a new coach, just stick with me for this whole call, because what I want to do is I want to give you the big picture of what this business is all about, the big picture of what this business can do for you. In the beginning, we start by just showing up. We get ourselves to Emerald. We get ourselves to Diamond. But once we get to diamond, then the business sort of changes a little. It's like, okay, now I think you're a Beachbody coach once you get to diamond. Okay, now you're a coach. Now you figured out this is how I sign up people. I was able to get a couple other people to sign up. Now I'm doing this coaching thing, right? Is that a fair thing to say? So get to diamond, we sort of figure this whole thing out, right? But in order to, and the reason that happens is most people, everybody on this call, it's nothing more than just effort to get to diamond. It isn't. Like, here's how you get to diamond. Here's the big secret, right? You guys all know what the diamond tracker is? Does everybody know what the diamond tracker is? So it's basically, it's, 4 dots on one side, 4 dots on the other side, and then, one of the, oh, Christina gave it away. That's all you do. Like, to get to diamond, you fill in the dots. That's it. Right? And we can all do that. And the reason that we can all do that is to get to effort, like to get to diamond. It's just all effort. Like, it's our personal effort. But now to get to star diamond, we actually have to inspire somebody else to do something, right? Like, we have to actually inspire somebody else. So let's come back to that number 5 that we talked about. The big picture of this business, you can have, your life can be drastically different from a financial standpoint, a mental standpoint, an emotional standpoint, a spiritual standpoint. Like, the legacy that you're able to leave, the value that you're able to provide, the lives that you're able to touch. And all it takes is 5 people. That's all you need in this business, is 5 people. Here's the catch. They have to be 5 people that want to do this as bad as you. They have to be 5 people that have a vision and a dream, and they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They're sick and tired of waking up every single day, living paycheck to paycheck. They're sick and tired of the anxieties and the depressions and the stresses that go. Like, we're not meant to be on this planet worrying about money every single day, especially in this country. So there, like, this opportunity is here for the people that want to take it. Getting to that next level and building a big business with your 5 people, it really is a funnel. And most of us understand this funnel. We say we reach out and we talk to 100 people, right? Let me reword that. We present the business, or we present the products to 100 people. And I want, what do you guys call it on your team? Do you guys call it sharing? Like, sharing the product, sharing? Like, how do you guys track that? Invite. Okay, so invite. Yeah, perfect. I want to kind of call everybody out, or maybe 90% of the people out. An invite is, hey, Ryan, do me a favor, man. I just got signed up as a Beachbody coach. Would you be willing to check out this business opportunity? I don't need you to sign up. I'm going to run with this thing 100%, and I don't want you coming back to me in a year saying I never gave you the opportunity to look at this. Would you do me a favor? Can you just check this out? And if he says yes or no, I don't care. But that's an invite. Talking to somebody on social media is not an invite unless you do all of that, right? And I'm just giving you an example with the business opportunity. It's an invitation to something. Posting on social media that you're running your next challenge group, that's a long game, but that's not an invite. So a lot of us, here's the deal. Social media is like a calculator, but you have to learn how to do math first. You have to learn how to do math first. So Do you guys know, even new coaches, you guys probably know, Melissa McAllister and Danielle Natoni? So I just did a call with Melissa the other night. So this woman has 300,000 Instagram followers. You know what her new coaches get for a training? They get that this is how you talk to someone face to face. You don't get the Instagram training right away so all of it, like, we want that right away, but that's the long game. That's the super, super, super long game. That's the year-plus game till you're starting to see, like, real results. Unless you have a good following and maybe you post up on social media and you might get a few people from that. But sometimes we hide behind social media and we hide behind getting on the next training and the next training. Because here's the rest of so we talked about, like, finding your 5, right? And in order to start doing that, like, your first goal is going to be to get to diamond. You don't literally what I told you guys how I just shared with Ryan. That's all you need to know to build your business. You literally don't even need to go do another training. You need to know how to invite somebody to something, which is super simple. Stop making it awkward. Just talk like you're passionate about this already. Like, this is an opportunity. It's not about you. It's not about, like, do I know how to mentor this person? We'll figure that out later. Let's get them in first. So it's inviting somebody to something, and then it's following up with them. Your work as a Beachbody coach is the invitation process and the follow-up process. Then we fill our groups and we do a little work in there. Here's the deal. If you're spending more than 5 minutes a day in your challenge group, you're doing it wrong. They've got the DVDs. They've got the Beachbody on demand, not the DVDs. They've got that's all done. Your job's to love people. Like, you don't need to coach them on macros and micros and this and that, and read the book. Like, everybody can do that. Our job is to put this in front of people, get them in a system that we have set up, get them in your challenge group. Cool. You got 20 ladies in there. Cool. 5 minutes a day. If you're in there for longer than 5 minutes a day, you're hurting your business. Harsh, right? But we hide in there because it feels good. It's uncomfortable to invite. But that's what's going to grow your business. That's what's going to allow you to build a business that allows you literally, like, listen to these words. It allows you to do what you want, when you want, with who you want for the rest of your life. And all it is making that decision in the moment. Me sharing this with other people and following up with those people. And I'm not saying abandon your challengers. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying once they get signed up and they're in that challenge group, they have the program. Everybody has it. Like, we can go in there and we can love on people and support people. But then our real goal for us, selfishly for us as, like, business owners trying to grow a business, is to go out there and find more people. And if we want to put on our Good Samaritan hat too, the real goal is to find more people, right? To help more people, to change more lives. So we're looking for 5 people, and we start by, we're presenting the business. So I got off on that tangent. We're inviting people. Like, that's an invitation. And when you signed up to be a Beachbody coach, the model, the business model that we have is called network marketing. The core to network marketing is relationships. It's deep, deep relationships. It's talking to people. It's nurturing. It's and I'm saying like just the inviting part, but that goes into the nurturing the relationship, inviting them, following up. They're not ready. Maybe they're ready then, but it's always in that mode. And then what you're eventually looking for, here's the coolest thing, you get paid while you're learning. You get to be an Emerald coach. Oh, you get some money. You just learned how to do it. You get to be a Diamond coach. Cool. You might have just made a couple $100 this week. Like as that goes, insert income disclaimer if I have to do that. But you know what, like you're going to get paid as you're learning. You're going to get paid as you're figuring this all out. Here's what I want. I want you to write down another really important piece of information. You only need to focus on your next goal. So if you have this like big goal of Diamond, what's your next goal? Emerald. Okay, how fast can we make that happen? Stop thinking about Diamond, Emerald. Like, let's get that ball rolling. Let's chunk it down into something super simple. You guys want me to go deeper into, I really wish I had like a whole day with you guys, like there's just so much, but I want you guys to leave this call both inspired, but I know a lot of teams like, give me the nuts and bolts, like give me the action steps. I had this awesome training that's like another 20 minutes long that really it focuses on the number one question that people ask. How do I find people that want to do this business? And then how do I get them to do something? So we can jump into that, which is super high level, or we can jump into anything else. Or we could jump into questions. Like I've been rambling for 40 minutes. All right, raise your hand if you want to know how to find people and how to get them to do something. All right, we're going to go with that. So this isn't going to be what you think it's going to be. There's a 3-step process to, I know, I saw you over there, Ryan. So there's a 3-step process to finding, and guys, if you're confused and lost, this isn't like a pitch for my book. When I set up calls to do this, and I prayed a lot about it, and I was like, am I going to talk about the book or do I just deliver value? But here's the truth. Like, this book should have been titled How to Find and Develop Leaders. Like, that's what the whole entire book is about. But you guys voted for Build to Last on social media, so I went with Build to Last. I put it up on social media and it was like by far the number one title, but it's laid out. Like, it's laid out. This is exactly what I did. This is exactly what I teach all of my leaders to do. 3 steps. Step number 1 is going to be called Lead Yourself. Step number 2 is going to be called Position Yourself. And then step number 3 is the actual development of leaders. Here's where everybody wants to pick it up, is how do we get the people doing it? Everybody wants to get to step number 3, the how to. Step number 1 is about you. So here's the deal. John Maxwell says that on a scale of 1 to 10, if you're a 2 as a leader, you can only recruit a 2. And as you get higher, you have the ability to recruit better people in. Does that make sense? Everybody follow that so far? So when you first start off in this business, what you lack in skill, you make up in numbers. So if you're currently at a 2, you need to be in hustle mode. Like, you're in hustle mode, but at the same time, you know how I said as a Beachbody coach, our job is like inviting and following, like doing all that work. Here's the second part of your job. It's becoming the brightest, shiniest, sexiest, most beautiful person from the inside out. Because that's what people follow. They're not going to follow you because you got the next best filter and you learned how to like move your hair and do a hair flip in a selfie pose. Like, that's cool. But think about it. When you're looking, who are the people that you really follow? Not the people who you're like trying to figure out what they're doing on Instagram and Beachbody said they're Beachbody famous, but the people that you're inspired by. It's who they are as a human being on the inside. It's their strength, it's their humbleness, it's their humility, it's their perseverance, it's their fortitude, it's their kindness, their love, their compassion, right? So we're talking about like, how do we find more people? And what we don't talk about is we got to look at us first, because you are the product. It's not T20, it's not Beachbody, it's not Shakeology, because they can go to 400,000 other coaches for that. Why should somebody follow you? Why should somebody be inspired by you? Why should somebody sign up with you? And here's the tough part about this. This is the most beautiful blessing in this business, and it can also be the biggest curse if you don't want to take it. We have to work on ourselves. That's the magic in this business. That's the how do you find people and how do you get them doing something. And it's different for everybody else. Like, maybe you just got signed up as a coach, and like, what's the number one thing holding you back? Okay, I just signed up as a new coach and I want to get to Emerald, but I'm scared to death of talking to people. You know what the answer is? Everybody knows it. You got to go talk to people. Like, there's only one way to do it. So that's the working on ourselves. Maybe it's and it's different for everybody else. Maybe you need to like get a therapist. Maybe you need to find a mentor that's going to speak truth in your life. Maybe you need to disconnect from somebody that's been a toxic relationship in your life. Maybe you need to start being honest with yourself and stop being a victim. Maybe you need to, whatever, like, it's different for all of us. Maybe you need to let go of that guilt, that shame, that insecurity, that doubt, that fear, that depression. Or maybe you need to just get this training and figure out, you need to jump on your team page and be like, all right, I'm going to go talk to 2 people tonight. How do I sign these people up? Like, what is it? The first part of this is we're talking about becoming the best us. And this is like the worst question. I can't believe I'm going to ask this. Did I already tell the story about Haley Christian? Like, in this, did we talk about Haley yet?
You talked about how she went from being at Diamond for 3 years.
Oh yeah. Okay.
To 7-star qual in 3 months.
Yep.
Because she made a decision.
And the piece that I want to come back to on that was insanely attractive to watch happen. And the reason that was because Haley got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and she started walking through her own SHIT instead of wallowing in it. And when somebody does that, like, we're inspired. Like, when you see someone, and she put it out there, she's so good at like being unauthentically herself, or unapologetically authentically herself, like, and just really like talking about her fears, her doubts, her insecurities, but then taking the step and going through it and growing through it. That's why her business changed. So how do we find and how do we develop leaders? The first part happens by having the courage, the fortitude, the strength to start leading ourselves. So I'm going to just keep it at that. That could be a weekend training, like in itself, like how do we lead ourselves? Here's the one thing that I want to share with you. And I just heard this the other day and I absolutely love it. Here's the quote. It's be hard on the issue and gentle on the person. So be hard on the issue, be firm on the issue, but gentle, loving, caring, compassionate on the human being. And whether you're mentoring yourself or you're mentoring somebody else, what that means is like, we've got to work through this piece. We've got to grow through this piece, and we're not going to let this go. We're going to be firm with the issue, but we're going to be compassionate and kind and gentle with the human. All right. Super fast forward, jumping to the next step, positioning yourself as a leader. This is for whether you're a brand new coach or you've been doing this for 5 years. Again, take the philosophy. So I'm a big proponent of philosophy, because if you can put all these pieces together, like some of the philosophies we've talked about, what is your intention, right? If you change your intention from the beginning, it changes everything. So the philosophy here is positioning yourself as a leader. I'm going to give you how I do it. And for a lot of people, it's going to be too much, but you'll see what I'm doing. Does that make sense? I'm going to do another cough lozenge here. All right. I don't know how to talk just monotone. I get so excited, but I'm going to try to like pull myself together here, because I want to be able to save my voice for this whole thing. Positioning yourself as a leader. When somebody comes to me and I'm talking to somebody and I tell them that whatever. Well, let me just give it how it works for me right now. I have people that come to me now because I've earned the right to do this, that they come to me one of two ways, either through a blog that I have or through a podcast that I have. I sign up 2 to 3 coaches a month. And when those people come to me, I don't like instead of them messaging me and saying, I want to talk to you about coaching, they have to fill out an application to talk to me. The purpose of the application, it has questions like, are you willing to have an employee-employer relationship? And I see Joan going through the book right now. This stuff that I'm about to talk about, guys, you don't even have to get the book. If you just go to keithcallahan.com/book, there's 10 different resources that explain step by step, like with checklists and all that stuff, exactly what I do here. But when they fill out the application, the purpose of it, gosh, is this too much? Is this too high level for this type of call, or are we all right? Or okay. Sometimes I get carried away because I work with like the main training that I do. I think the app process is Brill. Okay. Okay, let me just keep going because I'm wasting time now. The application process, they fill out an application. The purpose of the application is for me to be the one in control. And I ask questions like, are you willing to have an employee-employer relationship? Even though I know that you're not going to be my employee, but we need to have that type of relationship for me to show you what to do. Are you willing to allow me to speak truth into your life? And guys, even if you're a brand new coach, you can do this because you can have your upline help you with this. Are you willing to embark on a personal development plan? Are you willing to read the books that I recommend? So that's sort of how the application works. The whole entire purpose of it is just for me to position myself as a leader. They submit that application and they get an autoresponder. Everybody know what an autoresponder is? It's just an email that shoots back out to them. And anybody can set that up too. There's tons of free things that you can set that up with. The autoresponder says, I'm busy. I really want to talk to you, but I've got 5 kids that I'm always running around. Do me a favor, shoot me a text message that you just sent in this application. So I find out that somebody sent in an application because they shoot me a text message and say something like, Keith, really excited to talk with you. Just sent in an application. Let me know when's a good time. Everything that I've talked about and everything that I've shared is about this great business opportunity. And then I have them go through a thing that it's me screening them. Where I'm positioned right now, and the overarching principle is I'm not begging somebody to sign up with me. I'm not trying to get somebody to sign up with me. I have what you need. And so write that down. I have what you need, or I have what they need. That's the attitude from the beginning, because the mentoring people doesn't start when someone's a coach. It starts their whole experience up to that point. So again, if you're a brand new coach, we, Beachbody, collectively as a whole, we have this amazing opportunity. And as a new coach, we get in the way of it because we think that we don't know how to mentor someone yet. You don't need to know how to mentor someone. You need to know how to plug them into the system. You need to know how to get them into the Beachbody orbit. Like, that's the most important piece. So then when we get the call, when we do the call, here's the number one thing that people say to me. I messaged XYZ top 10 coach and never heard a single thing back. I can't believe we're on the phone right now. Hands down, every single time, that is the number one comment we get. And over 90% of the people sign up just from getting on the phone with them. So I want to pause there. There's a ton I could go into with that, but does that make sense, guys? Again, in the book, it literally lays out, like, I'm giving you guys super abridged version, but it lays out, do this, do this, do this, do this. Here's all the free resources. Download them. Like, yeah. And Joan, like with the needy vibe, remember how we were talking about the emerald? When they sign up as a coach, they're literally like, Keith, tell me what to do. And it's like, okay, we're signing up 2 people today. Not everybody does it, but that's how people are coming in, right? And then fast forwarding to the how do we mentor people? Again, there's a whole entire, like, I go through step by step with that. Here's what I'll boil it down to. It's believing in them and seeing where they can, like, seeing them not as they are, but as they can be, and building trust. Like, those are the biggest things. And that trust, your ability to trust them, their willingness to trust you, and your ability to believe in them, and, like, for that whole thing to work, you have to be doing step 1 yourself. Because your people are going to be scared, they're going to be insecure, they're going to be frightened to talk to people, they're not going to, but if you've been walking through your own insecurities, your own things that are uncomfortable, right? Because Jeff Hill used to always say, his best quote that I love was, it's the start that stops most people. So if we get started and maybe our first thing is to actually start talking to people. And I'm telling you guys, this business, it's not rocket science what we're doing. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, because I honestly think network marketing is the best personal development plan you could ever embark on. It really is, because it forces you to look at yourself. It forces you to grow as a person. It's like, and especially with Beachbody, when we have the fitness programs and all of that attached to it, it's like, it's just set up for us to live our best life. So we've got those 3 steps. Like, that's how we mentor people, but it's really coming back to you mentoring yourself, you nurturing yourself, you taking little steps each day to walk through your own stuff, because then you can attract others and then you can mentor them basically on what you're doing. Does that make sense, guys? All right. That took way longer than I thought it was going to take. Let's open it up. Like, I can hang out for a little bit.
For questions. I feel so bad that you're sick while you're doing this.
I'd rather be here than dealing with the 5 kids. So, to be honest, this is easier than dealing with kids when you're not feeling well.
Who has questions, you guys? You can type them in, or you can literally shout them out. I feel like if you shout them out, that's kind of like scary, so you should probably do that. I mean, it's not scary. It's just asking a question.
Keith's really scary.
Keith's super scary. Do you guys? I had the screen kind of shut, like, so I could just see Keith during that while I was recording. But do you guys know who Haley is? Yeah. So, Christina, you still on here? Yeah. One of the things that Christina was talking about the other day was that, like, Haley is so good at just, like, being herself and, like, talking to people like they are her, like, best friend in the entire world. And she literally just makes you feel like the second you talk to her, like, you're now besties. And so, like, I met her at, what was it, leadership. And within minutes, like, I had her cell phone number, and she was like, text me when you're over here. And I was like, I just met that guy. I just met you. So I think that that's awesome that you said that she made a decision.
Yeah.
But is, like, what else can you tell us about that, like, journey right there from, like, because I know that everybody wants to know. And I know, like, it's not like a how, it was like a belief thing. But what do you think were some things that, like, led her to get there, or, like, that maybe she read that helped her get there, or, like, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I can lay it out super simple. So it's always only one of 2 things. It's either inspiration or desperation. Every single time. So we need fuel, we need wind, we need something behind us to get us going. And for Haley, it was desperation. And if you have desperation in your life, you can, like, tap into that. The exact thing that happened with Haley was when she signed up as a coach, she wound up quitting her hairdressing job and quitting her bartending job, but she was still only making a couple $100 a week. They moved from Massachusetts down to the Carolinas, and her husband lost his job. So they were freaking out. She was they were at a checkout line, and she could see him playing credit card roulette and, like, freaking out because they didn't have enough money for groceries. So she was like, I got to go get a bartending job again. She went into that bartending gig and walked out halfway through because she just she was like, I can't do it. There's no way I'm going back to that life. And it was in that moment. And Tony Robbins always says he talks about quitting smoking and stuff like that. It doesn't take time. It happens in an instant. And if we can either manufacture those instances, or there's some people that have the ability to manufacture it. And the sad reality is that for a lot of us, we have to wait till we hit rock bottom before it. Like, that was her rock bottom moment. So that's the desperation piece. For me, it was like, I'm a proud guy, and I was a newly married husband and with a new baby, and I'm now dragging my wife through a bankruptcy and everything that goes along with that. And, like, I needed to make something happen in our life. So how it was for me. And then the inspiration part, we actually can manufacture that in Beachbody. The easiest way to do the inspiration piece is doing a program 100%. Like, and here's the catch: it has to be 100%. It has to be like dialed in on the nutrition, dialed in on the workouts, and dialed in on the community. And when you do that, you just like, you feel unbelievable. And that's where that inspiration comes from. So yeah, like for everybody that's like wanting to do that, it's the we don't change because it's easier to stay how we are in the moment than it is to change. Like when the pain to change becomes more, when we're like so uncomfortable not changing, like that's what happened with Haley. And, you know, the other way you can do it is like start projecting out your life. And if you don't change, you know, if you're sick of getting what you've gotten and you don't change, you're going to continue to get the same things.
I love that. I had gone to Tony Robbins in November in New York City. And that's very much like what he had us do, like focus on, you know, if you don't do anything right now to change where you're at, like where are you going to be 5 years from now? Where are you going to be 10 years from now? He had children leave the room because he was like, people are going to get upset. And literally the whole vibe in the place was like, I was like so uncomfortable. I was like, get me out of here. Yeah. But it was true. And for a lot of people, they had like a breakthrough because of that, because it created that desperation like that.
Yeah.
For me, I know I found the programs because of desperation, and then it was inspiration from the program that got me to coach.
Mm-hmm.
So that's so true. Also, talk a little bit more about like you mentioned it several times during your chat about the 5 people, but I don't know if newbies really understand what you're saying about that. Like, I know that was one of the first things I heard you say when I first heard you speak, was that you literally just need, you know, 5 stars in your business and you're a millionaire. And so chat about that for a second. Or did I do it for you?
I don't know what more to say. It's so simple. It's I think like everybody understands the 5 real people. What we have to be willing to go through the thousands of people to find the 5 people, though. That's the piece that Larry Zimberg had a great analogy. He's like, here's how this business works. Imagine that you're sitting in the stands of a gymnasium and there's 10,000 Dixie cups down on the floor of the gymnasium. And underneath those 10,000 Dixie cups are your 5 people, right? So let's call them diamonds. I would say 5-star diamonds in Beachbody. So underneath 5 of those Dixie cups are the 5-star diamonds. And he said, here's how this business works. How fast are you going to go down there and flip those cups? And flipping those cups, it goes back to what we were talking about, that inviting and following up and doing all that. That's flipping the cups. And he said that this is what the business comes down to. And I'm glad you asked that question, because it sums up everything we talked about. It's a combination of the speed in which you flip the cups. And the second piece is, how good are you at flipping the cups? That's that personal development piece. That's that like growing, because I'm better at flipping cups because I've been doing this for 9 years, right? In the beginning, I just knew how to flip them fast. That was it. Like, it was just, I would talk to anybody and everybody, and I made a fool of myself, but I didn't care. I had a vision and a dream for my wife and my daughter and how we wanted our life to be. So it really is. And here's the next question that people ask. Well, how long is it going to take? Maybe the first 5 cups you flip are going to have those people under it. It's pretty unlikely. Or maybe it's going to be that last, 5 cups. The reality is it's going to be somewhere mixed in there. You could talk to hundreds of people before you find someone. You could talk to 2 or 3 people, and then you find, your first rock star that wants to do this business with you. The only way for it not to work is not to be out there flipping cups, though.
Right. Mariah said, when you ask people if they will check out the business opportunity, what are you sharing with them when they say yes?
Whatever works for your team. I think that everybody should have two things. I think you should have a long presentation and like under 5 minute, maybe 10 minute at the very longest thing. So start with that. You've got like a more like whether you're doing groups, whether you're doing a webinar, like whatever it is. I'm sure you guys have stuff on the team, and then Beachbody has stuff if you guys don't have stuff on the team.
Yeah, I would say like the sneak peeks that we're doing, Mariah, or lately I've also been sharing that video by Brooke Lipoff that's like 10 minutes long. Like not reinventing the wheel because it's freaking awesome. So those are the two like major tools that I've been using, but really just the sneak peek because it's easy. Jill says, so do you build under those 5 people once you get your 5 Ps? Build deep instead of wide?
I get what you're asking, Jill. So the most important thing is you're looking for leaders. So if I sponsor someone and they sponsor someone and they sponsor someone, and all of a sudden I see potential in this person down there, I'm going to work with that person down there. So it's you're looking for leaders. Like that's the number one thing. You really are. And here's the beautiful part. Whether you have if you have a strong leg, you really only need one leader to get this thing taking, like to get to full-time income. If you've got no strong, like no power leg, it's 2 leaders, like to get to full-time income. But yeah, the whole name of the game is wherever they are. Like my sponsor, Bob Lucido, it was Bob, this other guy, Charles, Greg Plaskett. Greg Plaskett sponsored this woman, Christine. And then Christine sponsored this guy, Don Murphy. So 4 levels deep. But he was on Bob's weak leg. And for an entire year, Bob spent like 20 hours a week working with Don Murphy. But Don Murphy's team yeah, kind of getting deep into like how it all works. Bob's probably made over $1 million just from that one thing, like building that one team. So it's not about, and that has nothing to do with Success Club, nothing to do with recognition, like none of that. It's about developing those 5 people.
Teresa, are you just asking what his invite was? Could you go back to the invite piece, inviting to the business instead of challenge groups?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to know, that what he said a little bit, and then we're always being taught to do the challenge group, invite challenge group, and it seems like he's saying something different than that, Keith. That should be inviting to the business and then to the challenge group if they're not interested in the business, I guess. Is that what I'm thinking?
I think you can do it whatever works for you, Teresa. So it could be straight invite to a business opportunity. It could be, for me in the beginning, it was Shakeology first, because we didn't even have challenge groups. It was like having people drink Shakeology. They like that, then inviting to the business. But again, if we go to the overarching piece, my intention is to build a big business. In order to do that, I need 5 leaders. So everything that I'm doing is with the intention of getting those 5 leaders. So if I was doing if my main recruiting was for challenge groups, my intention on all of that is to find people that want to work the business, and then out of that to find people who like that we're looking to become leaders. So we don't have to change anything. We're just literally changing that intention, like the end piece that we're looking for.
Okay, thank you. That makes more sense. All right.
Christina Emery said, my hubby is on the right leg. He doesn't really work the business. Is that a good idea, or should I fire him? Well, right leg and left leg doesn't really matter. It has to do with your volume. So I'm assuming your right leg is your strong leg if you're asking that question.
Christina, I would just have somebody that knows the compensation plan. Just look at your personal situation. But you can't. The good news is whether he's working or not, you're going to get paid for the volume that's underneath there. You definitely don't want to get rid of your husband.
Yeah, no, you want to work his business.
Christina too.
Yeah. All right. I think those are all the questions that were typed out, unless I missed something. Let me just scroll up real quick and make sure. I think that was it. Yes. But people are saying they learned a lot. People are saying this was helpful. What else we got on here? So good. Thank you.
A lot of gratitude.
That was my quick synopsis of the chat.
Yeah. And when you guys, like, the best thank you, and all honesty, you don't make any money off books. Like, I'm not trying to sell books, but go through that and then tag me once you've gone through it, because it's going to make sense. Like, it simplifies it. And I'm not a natural writer. I didn't edit it. I worked with my editor. We did 14 full edits on this thing because I write the way that I talk, and it was all over the place. Like, it's laid out a lot more logistically than the way that I just laid things out.
Well, you did a great job laying things out, but yes, it is. It's very like step by step. And really, I think, I don't care if you're a brand new person or not, I think it's helpful. I don't think that I know that you meant for it to be for leaders or people who have been in it for a little bit, but I do think that anyone reading it, even a brand new coach, can get something out of this, whether it just be positioning yourself immediately as that coach or whatnot. Anything else, guys, while we're on here? I think that's it. Thank you. That's what they're all saying. Thank you so much, Keith. I really appreciate it. I know that I heard a few people tag in here that they already just went and got the book, and they're waiting till Thursday now for it to get delivered.
Awesome.
We're super excited, and we appreciate your time.
Thanks a lot, Keith. Feel better, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a great night.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Bye, guys.